Picture this. A nation with so much wealth, it builds cities that look like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie. Got it? Now imagine that same nation is, well, it's quietly collapsing from the inside out, all from a disease that's totally preventable. We're going to dive into the absolutely wild story of the Middle East's diabetes crisis.
And this is the massive paradox, right? I mean, on one hand, you've got this incredible, mind-blowing prosperity. We're talking gleaming skyscrapers, luxury supercars, a standard of living that's through the roof. But then you pull back the curtain, and there's this hidden national disaster. Hospital waiting rooms are overflowing, and an entire generation is becoming dependent on insulin. So how did these two completely opposite realities end up in the exact same place?
And look, the sheer scale of this problem, it's just staggering. We are not talking about a small bump in the numbers here. Get this. In places like Qatar and Kuwait, diabetes rates are soaring up to nearly 20%. 20! To put that in perspective, that absolutely dwarfs the rates in a Western country like the US. This has gone way beyond a simple health issue. It's a full-blown national crisis.
So the first thing you're probably thinking is, okay, well, they're rich, so they just eat a lot, right? And yeah, that's the obvious guess, but it's way, way too simple. The real answer is, it's this terrifying perfect storm. You've got this collision of ancient traditions, a brutal environment, and super fast modernization that's created a total metabolic catastrophe.
All right, let's break down this perfect storm. Ingredient number one is what I'm calling the hospitality trap. We're talking about a culture that is so deeply embedded, where love, respect, social connection, it's all expressed through one single thing: sugar.
See, in this culture, hospitality isn't just a nice gesture. It's practically a sacred duty. So imagine you visit someone's home. You're immediately offered a non-stop stream of super sweet chai or coffee, dates that are practically dripping with sugar, and desserts like baklava just soaked in syrup. And here's the kicker: saying no thanks is a huge insult. And the meals themselves, we're talking mountains of rice and bread. It's a constant, all-day-long assault of carbs and sugar.
And you can imagine, this has a brutal effect on the body. Every single one of those sweet drinks, every date, every dessert, it triggers a massive blood sugar spike. Your pancreas has to go into overdrive, just pumping out insulin again and again and again. Think about it. Your body's metabolic system was designed for times when food was scarce. Now it's being flooded 24/7, and it's just wearing out. Okay, now for what is maybe the most counterintuitive part of this whole story. How on earth can a month of fasting, something we all know has major health benefits, actually make this diabetes crisis even worse? Well, this is what we call the Ramadan paradox.
So as you probably know, during the holy month of Ramadan, Muslims fast from sunrise all the way to sunset. The meal that breaks that fast every evening is called the iftar. And in theory, right, this should be amazing for your body, a chance to cleanse and reset. But what's happening in reality? It's turned into a metabolic disaster.
And this is the central irony. That fast should be activating all these great processes, like cellular cleanup and turning your body into a fat-burning machine. But the reality on the ground couldn't be more different. It's become this vicious cycle. Starve all day and then binge all night on super sugary foods, which basically signals the body to store fat like crazy.
So, let's walk through how this actually happens, because it's pretty wild. After an entire day with zero food or water, your body is hypersensitive to insulin. It is primed to suck up every last calorie you give it. But instead of breaking that fast with something gentle and nourishing, the tradition is often to just detonate a nuclear bomb of sugar on the system. We're talking dates, fried carbs, sugary drinks. The body basically panics. It goes into survival mode and converts that tidal wave of sugar straight into the absolute worst kind of fat, visceral fat, the stuff that wraps around your internal organs.
Okay, so let's recap where we are. We've got a diet that's constantly flooding the body with sugar. We have a religious tradition that, totally by accident, has turned into a fat storage fest. The final ingredient in this perfect storm is the environment itself, which makes fighting back, well, almost impossible.
Yeah, this one number pretty much says it all. In the summer, temperatures can hit a blistering 50 degrees Celsius. That's 122 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, just walking outside isn't just uncomfortable, it's literally dangerous.
So what happens when it's that hot? Well, this extreme climate has basically created a society of indoor humans. Life just becomes a rotation between an air-conditioned home, an air-conditioned car, and an air-conditioned office or mall. People say entire generations have literally forgotten how to walk. Then you layer on top of that cultural limits, especially for women, on exercising in public spaces. And even crazier, there's often a traditional view that being a bit overweight is actually a sign of wealth, not sickness. You're completely and utterly trapped.
Okay, so why should any of this matter to you? I mean, this is a story from halfway around the world, right? Well, here's why. Because their perfect storm is a terrifying mirror of our own modern lives.
I mean, just think about it for a second. A life spent almost entirely indoors, a diet that's loaded with sweet, processed foods, a total reliance on convenience that stops us from even moving our bodies? Does any of that sound familiar?
When you lay it out, the parallels are they're undeniable. They're high-sugar hospitality foods. That's our sugary sodas and endless processed snacks. Them being trapped indoors by extreme heat, that's us trapped indoors by our office jobs. There's society that forgot to walk. That's our world of food delivery apps and total dependence on cars. No, we might not have the desert sand and sun, but we have absolutely built our own comfortable cages.
Now, to be clear, these nations are waking up to the crisis. They're starting to fight back. You're seeing things like sugar taxes and big public health campaigns trying to turn the ship around. But the damage is so deep, culturally and environmentally, that reversing it is just a monumental uphill battle.
And really, their story is a powerful warning for every single one of us. It proves that no amount of money, no amount of technology, can save you if the fuel you're putting into your own body is poison. It doesn't matter if you're trapped by desert heat or just an office chair. The choice of what you eat is still the most powerful tool you have. In the end, this isn't just about their story. It's about our choices. So the question for you is, what will you use for fuel?